So, everyone, new series this week. It's called Ichi the Witch, created by the artist from Act Age, which had some of the best art in Shonen Jump, and written by the author of Irumakun, who, Irumakun is one of my favorite anime. I don't read the manga, but the manga is massively popular. The anime, maybe even more popular. So, and also I love Irumakun. So you have great story, great potential characters, great art style already from what I can tell. So there's a serious question of, could this be Shonen Jump's next big manga? Today, we're going to read that chapter, we're going to find out for ourselves, and then we'll react to the new One Piece chapter. But as usual, we'll give everyone a couple of minutes to hop in. Also, sorry for the death for death was cool. Not sure what you mean. Sorry for the late start. I had something come up, and then, of course, I forgot to do a thumbnail for the stream. Do I read Record of Ragnarok? No. Also, Blazing Boy, how you doing today? Hope you're enjoying your Saturday. KB Jackson, what's going on? Pleasure to have you. Soul, how you doing today? Soul, I saw your DM, by the way. I want to talk to you about that. Arthur, what's going on? Hope you're enjoying your Sunday. The goat himself. Well, I know you're not talking about me. Blush, blush. Okay, so Soul, my editor, if you're not aware, Soul says he really liked this first chapter. All right, cool. Before we get started, small reminder that while we are checking out this new manga and reading One Piece today, you can show your appreciation through super chats and super thanks. You'll see that we have a goal for the stream today up in the left corner, $50. Again, no expectations for donations, but it is a huge help, and it does keep the channel going. Even something as small as $1 really helps to support the future of this channel. You don't need a thumbnail, you are the thumbnail. Oh, well, thank you. What's going on? Axel Kabalatin, sorry if I butchered that. How you doing today? OG is the goat. Aw, oh, thanks, guys. Making me blush on a Sunday. We'll give everyone 2 more minutes and then we'll get started. Anyone else who read the... Oh, I am reading One Piece? Yeah, I'm going to read... I would read more, but unfortunately, I have to get going at 12:30 today. Usually I like to wait a little longer. I'm excited to see what's going on with One Piece because I hope we get a first look at Elbaf. Thankfully, in case I'm just totally out of the loop, I didn't really see any spoilers for One Piece this week. Also, what do you guys think about all the people on Twitter jumping at that one person who said they were going to do leaks for Kagurabachi? That was pretty crazy. Because, I mean, we've had leaks for Jujutsu Kaisen forever. We've had leaks for One Piece for even longer. And then people want to do the same thing for Kagurabachi, and it's like a 180. Personally, I think that's just an optics thing. I think as soon as someone does start leaks for Kagurabachi, everyone's gonna jump ship. Everyone's gonna join along. I don't think anyone's kidding themselves. Catch-up stream for Magia Lumiere when? Maybe this week. Maybe we'll do a little Dawn to Dawn, and then we'll read some Magia Lumiere. That might not be a bad idea. We'll see. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So, if you'd like to follow along, we are reading Ichi the Witch, Chapter 1. So just to give some context, the story is by Osamu Nishi, who writes Iramakun. And Iramakun is... I have not read the manga, but the anime is really good. I love Irama. I love his friends. What's her name is adorable. The demon girl. I haven't watched it in a while. And the story is awesome. So I'm excited to see that translated to a witch series in Shonen Jump. And then the art is by Shiro Usazaki, the artist of Act Age. TLDR for that, unfortunately, Act Age was cut short. The writer got in some legal trouble, criminal trouble, that the artist had no connection to, but because they were partnered, the series got cut, and this artist was not able to work and Jump for the time being. So they've made their return, long awaited by fans of Act Age, and so depending on this first chapter and the next 7 or 8 chapters, this could be one of the new faces of Jump. Just by the art style alone and the aesthetic of this manga, I am convinced that that could be the case. But nonetheless, we'll continue to read. Blazing Boy said, when it comes to leak, I'll always see if it has an official translation. Oh, I'll always say if it has an official translation, don't leak it. Yeah, but that's the thing, right? It's like, it's not a leak if there isn't an official. Then you're just scanning because there's no way to read it otherwise. The whole thing with leaks is people don't like the official translations. So they create this circle of theirs where, like, they're detached from and they don't have to be a part of Viz and Kodansha and whoever, and they can feel sort of superior. Anyway, so page 1. I'm thankful for the fruits and plants, the animals, the birds, insects, and fungi. I'm thankful for all life in this world. Some pretty gorgeous art already of the wildlife, of the scenery. And then we see what appears to be the main character saying, "Oh boy, I want to hunt. I want to hunt them all." So already some interesting characterization for our main character. Has a clear appreciation for nature, right? Out of love, it seems like almost. But then he says he wants to hunt them all. So it's interesting because he loves nature, but he has this like adventurous, almost, I don't want to say assertive, but like very ambitious, connection to nature. Druid Mountain, the flower field near its summit. Okay. Hopefully there's some druids in this series. As a World of Warcraft fan, I love druids. Not that I main druids, but I do appreciate them from a distance. That's crazy. So this character, he's at Druid Mountain. He's just hiding out in this flower field and just totally murks this poor moose. So then we cut to the village at the foot of the mountain. Oh, he finally didn't, huh? So that's the flower field guardian. It's huge. We can cross the mountain safely again. All the folks it kicked to death can rest in peace. Yeah, that's true. Moose are funny because, well, I know this is a fantasy creature. I don't know if it's a moose per se, but moose can get pretty violent. Like if you come across a moose in its territory, or if it's just in a bad mood, a moose will mess you up. So it's very fitting in character, I guess, that these people were actually afraid of this moose. it's funny because it jumps from like, oh, look at the cute little moose just minding its own business, not hurting anybody, enjoying the flowers, and the character like assassinates him. But then it's like, oh, he was actually killing all these people. So he actually did everyone a favor. So they say, thank you so much, Ichi. And then it looks like he's handed maybe a coin purse, like a bunch of gold. And he says, sure, no problem. It was totally worth lying in wait for 6 hours. Though I was this close to squawking when I got pooped on that one time. I'm glad I got the kill. So this is very... The first thing I like about this series right away is I love how on point it is with the whole hunting aesthetic. A love for nature, but, you know, out of respect for it at the same time. An appreciation for, like, the skills of hunters and what they do for people and what it takes to be a hunter. I mean, having to chill for 6 hours and get, like, nothing done, basically, is pretty normal to go hunting. That's why people leave at, like, 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. So in a way, he's talking about the job, and he goes, huh? And it cuts to these people saying, take care, be sure to write. And they're talking to these girls on a carriage. And he says, hey, wait a minute. You're leaving today? And they say, Ichi, hey, it's Ichi. So obviously they know him. I didn't know if you'd come down the mountain. Just got here this morning. We're off to take the test. We get to go to the capital. Wow. What was that place again? The Man-Cheese Association? I love all the chibi faces. No, the name of the school we're testing at is... Oh, well, it's not like I'll ever go there. Of course, then he's going to go there. Here, a gift for your journey. Rabbit meat and jerky. Take them. So, he says rabbit meat. He gives them pieces of jerky and literal dead rabbits. So he's a crazy character, to say the least. To anyone who's read the chapter, or to anyone who's following along with me for the first time, what do we think of Ichi as a character so far? I like him. I like him a lot. So then the short-haired girl of the bunch says, Ichi, are you always going to live on the mountain? Everyone in the village adores you. Save going up the mountain for when you hunt and live in the village. And then he says, I'll stay on the mountain. There's still things I want to do there. Interesting. So potential backstory. And so she says, oh, well, take care then. You too. And then they sort of part ways. And then this NPC-looking guy says, that was a waste of breath. Ichi's different from us. The world he lives in, the way he lives, it won't ever be like ours. So then he parts ways and he says, time to go home to the mountain. And they're not kidding. This village is like right at the base of the mountain. I mean, they're in the village and you can literally see the mountain right there. But then we cut to his knife. And from the knife, we cut to what appears to be a flashback. When I was 6, I was given a knife and a little bit of food. When my food ran out and no one came for me, it hit me that I'd been abandoned on the mountain. So we see him almost like a callback to Senku in Dr. Stone. Washing his face in the river, eating berries, then throwing up because he didn't know if they were good berries or not. Clearly the bad kind. So I started walking, day in and day out. I desperately tried to survive. When I was on the brink, I realized something. They hadn't given me the knife to hunt. They'd given it to me so I could slit my own throat. Wow, this is aggressive. This is a very dynamic story. It's very cute. It's very majestic, but it gets pretty heavy too. I'm loving it. Loving every bit of it. Yeah, and we can see Ichi as a kid, like, pretty much on the brink of death. But what did he say? This happened when he was 6 years old. Yeah, he's 6 years old, and he has to face this harsh reality. I mean, this is pretty intense. So as he's left alone, a wolf comes out of nowhere, is about to eat him, but then he kills the wolf. He says, I surprised myself by how hard I'd clung to life. He attacks the wolf, and we see almost this like surge of energy in his eyes, which is pretty cool. And so I learned gratitude for life. I learned how to catch fish, how to forage for edible plants, and where the edible mushrooms grew. And in time, so we can see him doing all these hunting things, right? He's eating the wolf meat. He uses the pelt. He looks in the river at the fish. He learns how to catch the fish with his knife, which must be a pain in the ass. We see him, he weaved some kind of basket to collect herbs, and he's picking mushrooms to eat. And then we cut, and it shows him contrasted to a wolf's eye, which is interesting. And then it shows he kept the wolf's head. He kept it. He puts all his tools on the wall, which is pretty interesting. He said, and in time, I learned to hunt. And he has a sign on his wall that says death for death. Interesting. The villagers at the foot of the mountain are kind. They treat a vagrant like me well. I like them. I'm thankful to them, but there's still something I want to do. Surviving for so long on the mountain, I've developed a sense for combat. I can't say whether that instinct led me there or not, but... And then we cut to this opening in the woods. Just beyond the flower field, near the mountain peak, I found it. What's going on, Manga Boy 2010? How you doing today? How am I doing today? I'm doing good. Enjoying my Sunday morning. Loving this new manga and Jump, Ichi the Witch. And then just going to enjoy some football today. So couldn't ask for a better day. How you doing today? He's in the woods, just below the flower field, near the mountain peak. So at the very top of the mountain, he says, I found it. And we cut to what appears to be some kind of bird creature. Maybe like a phoenix? It slept soundly, a massive tree for its pillow. I could tell. It was a creature completely unknown to me. I'd never seen or touched it before, but I could tell. It was powerful, and it wouldn't hesitate to kill humans. Interesting. So he grabs his knife, and he says, I took one look, and then turned and ran. It hadn't done anything yet. Probably. I couldn't say if it had actually killed any humans, or even any other animals for that matter. And then it cuts to a panel that says death for death. Again, which is the sign he had. If they don't face me with the intent to kill, then I shouldn't desire to kill them either. Killing things you don't mean to eat isn't hunting. It's murder. That's one line you must never cross. But if that creature does harm a human, if it does turn its fangs on me, if it does trigger death for death, I want to hunt it. A lot. I want to hunt that creature. Maybe I'll set up some traps just in case. A pit trap, maybe a snare or two. Something to note here on pages 22 and 23. We have this technique that I've seen other mangaka use. In particular, I think Boichi used to do this a lot in Dr. Stone. But we see this graphic effect. I don't know what you would call it. They almost look like stars. But we see this design effect in Ichi's black hair where there's a bunch of white dots. And then in the next panel, you see just his eyes, but you can see kind of his hair slowly taking over the panel, and you see like the white dots that kind of look like stars. And then in the next panel, it's just all black with those kind of white dot star like things again. So it's an interesting visual trick. It could just be an aesthetic thing, an aesthetic choice by the artist. It could be sort of a trick to give you the illusion that we're getting deeper and deeper into Ichi's mind. I don't know, but something to think about. Anyway, maybe I'll set up some traps just in case. A pit trap, maybe a snare or two. What team do I root for? If you're talking about football, I'm a Patriots fan. I am born and raised in New England, and I have always been a Patriots fan. I've been a Patriots fan during the Tom Brady dynasty, and even when he went to the Bucs, I was still a Patriots fan. Even this season, when they have a very unsure future, I will be a Patriots fan 100%. Fun fact, I'm also a huge college football fan, to any of my big college football fans out there. Kyokuto Necromance manga has ended after 18 chapters, canceled. Interesting. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to read that one. Anyway, so Justin said he's a Bears fan. You know what, though? I respect the hell out of you, man, because if you're a Bears fan, you're rooting for that team, rain or shine. The Bears fans are probably the coolest fan bases in all the NFL, and they have my respect. Psycho House has ended as well. Interesting. Have I watched Overflow? It's my favorite anime. No, I haven't even heard of that. What's it about? Anyway, so he's talking about setting these traps. And he says, if that time does come, if I get my chance, surely. And then we cut to this creature, and it's interesting. It looks like a giant bird, but then it's got the mane of a horse. At least it looks like that. But then it's got this like weasel-like face with these sharp teeth. So the creature stands, and it says, and it even looks like it's wearing a jacket, because if you look at it, it's got like a collar. Interesting. But it says, "Ha, finally here, huh? Little gnats." So then we cut to Ichi's friends that are on the way to the witch test. They say, "Excuse me, why'd the carriage stop?" And she says, "I'm really grateful for this jerky now. Traffic's been stopped up ahead." "What? Why? We'll miss our train." "Well, they said it's an emergency magic warning." That's an interesting way to spell magic. It's M-A-J-I-K. Huh. A magic warning? Oh my gosh, really? There's a magic? Where? I want to see it. A real live magic. And if there's a magic, then surely there's some of them here too. So maybe a magic is like a monster? And then we cut to this witch, which I'm pretty sure is the one from... Yeah, this is the witch from the opening cover page. Interesting. Gorgeous design, by the way. This looks like a character right out of Witch at Atelier. Descaras, the Abyssal Witch. Oh my god. If this is going to be the whole series, I'm addicted. This is like one of my new favorite series. I mean, it looks like Witch at Atelier. The creatures look like they're out of Magic the Gathering. I mean, Descaras, the Abyssal Witch, that has got to be one of the coolest names ever. That sounds like an Elden Ring boss. Anyway, it cuts to this character. She's got this whole freaky design with a sword out of anything. And a mirror? Interesting. Druid Mountain, near the summit. Found it. Are you certain it's Uroro? Yep, for sure. Probably. Well, I'm off. So, the mirror seems to be a sort of communication device. Interesting. Well, I'm off. Y'all go focus on guarding the normies, okay? What about reinforcements? They'd only be underfoot. Discurus, wait. And then we cut to Monagold, or Moangold, the Ariat Witch. Interesting. Oh, that girl is such a handful. Ladies, please evacuate the residence and erect a protective barrier. Quickly now. Yes, ma'am. Any immediately available witches, all already en route to Druid Mountain. We must settle things there. It'll be disastrous if we don't. No matter what it takes, Discurus must acquire the Uroro magic. It cannot be allowed to roam free any longer. In this world, magic is alive. So there's magic, the energy, and then there's magic, like creatures. Living magic, called magics, first contacted humanity long ago. Interesting. So these creatures are almost like aliens from another dimension, almost. Out of nowhere, a talking blob of water appeared. This blob of water says, "Hi, drink every drop of this water. Do that and you'll acquire me, the water magic. That is my trial. Should you manage to pass it, I'll teach you the chant for controlling water." After that, the bonfire magic said, "Hold me for 1 hour." The iceberg magic said, "Sleep beside me for a night." And the breeze magic said, "Walk with me for 1,000 miles. By passing the magic's trials, heed me, water drops, Tao." Interesting. They acquired the magic itself. Currently, there are magic hunters who have overcome countless grueling trials and acquired powerful magic. People call these hunters witches, with reverence and respect. That's pretty cool. Is the populace evacuated? We're 80% complete. The barrier? Go up to 4, even 5. Layer them on. Don't you even think about approaching that mountain peak. Up there is where monsters battle. Interesting. So we have our Discurus Witch, and then we have the magic. So this is the magic that we were dealing with before, and it's interesting. It's like this bird, human-like creature. It's got like talons for hands. It's got this crazy hair, this insane helmet design. It's got like these Buddha ears with gauges. This is a very crazy looking character. Why am I not surprised it was you who found me, Discurus? Are you that in love with me, you little stalker, you? No, gross. How about you just die already and let me acquire you, you egotistical excuse for a magic. So they're battling, all these kinds of slash attacks. But do you think you can win? You face King Uroro, the King Magic. Interesting. Setting the stakes pretty high already. In this world, magic is alive, and thus each magic has its own personality. Unfortunately, King Uroro was the worst type of magic. He refused to allow witches to acquire him. He leveled mountains and drank rivers dry. He took countless lives for no reason. He was a magic who hated humanity. Ignore me and I'll go on another murdering streak. I've lived far too long, you know. If I don't amuse myself with people, I'll expire from sheer boredom. But if you want to acquire me, my trial is to stop my heart. Simplicity itself, don't you think? Try it if you dare, witch. So then Discurus says, pierce through all, Lazud. So her sword itself is a magic, I'm guessing. And the attack, like, sends a outburst of energy that spreads, like, through this whole mountain area. And then it cuts to Lady Discurus. Interesting paneling, by the way. It is kind of messy, but I don't hate this necessarily. Descarus seems to have landed a big blow on the monster, but I'm not sure. Descarus, you must have sensed it by now, the feeling that something's off. Have you ever wondered how I've survived over 1,000 years without a single witch ever acquiring me? Let me enlighten you with the devastating truth. No woman can scratch my heart. Huh. That's just how it's made. You did well to push me this far. That was the most fear I've felt in my life. Not that you ever stood a chance. You damn magic. You may be the most powerful witch alive, but even you can't defy my rules. As long as you witches are women, you will never acquire me. It's impossible. So this is an oddly specific ability, if I do say so. So then we turn the pages, and then it cuts to Ichi, who was looking relatively weak in this big magic fight. So then there's just this deadpan, and Descarus and the Uroro are just giving him this dumb face like, dude, what are you doing? Who are you? What rock did you crawl out from under? And he says, I'm a man. Huh? I said, I'm a man. So then Uroro tries to attack him, and he's surprised that he completely misses. And then, of course, when he punches into the pit trap. A pit trap plus a snare. Try to pull out of it, and it'll only bind you tighter. It's not easy to get out of. Whoa, 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 whoa. What do you think you're doing? Hey, let's not be hasty, okay? First, put the knife down. What are you looking at me all sparkly-eyed for? Hey now, don't get so close, okay? Personal space. And I said put the knife down. Gorgeous paneling on pages 46 and 47. So he tries to attack him. He was literally waiting for an excuse. That's so funny. He says, haha, you just tried to kill me. Death for death. And then he attacks Uroro. Stabs him right in the heart. Great paneling. Loving this. So Uroro instantly acquires Ichi instantly acquires Uroro's magic, and he gets this crazy looking witch outfit. He says, what the heck is all this stuff? I stick out like a sore thumb, and where did that thing go? So then Descarus points her sword, potential magic, but sword, right at Ichi and says, okay, kid, don't move. And then, of course, he defends himself with this knife. Wait, I told you not to move. You looked like you wanted to kill me. What are you, an automatic slicing machine? I'm loving the chibi faces. This is awesome. Anyway, right now you're in the literal worst situation possible, kid. Don't move, don't talk, and don't even think about speaking any chants. Chants? Oh, what was it? That Lazood thing? Wait, did he just steal her sword? What the heck just happened? So he says Lazood. What the heck just happened? I'm confused. So he says Lazood seemingly uses her attack. She freaks out. All the other witches freak out. And then it says, a side note, in this world, only women have an aptitude for magic. Thus, only women can acquire and use magics. That's why they're called witches. It's widely believed that men can't use magic. But let us say, for example, there was a magic with a special power. That magic provided a trial that only a man could pass. Not only that, let's say a man with a mind and body well trained enough to handle said magic happened to pass the trial. Even in that extremely rare case, that man's chance of acquiring the magic would be a mere 0.001%. It's effectively impossible. And then, of course, we cut to this very real reality. even if all that lined up, it would still make a miracle. And then we end on Ichi seemingly just having used Descaris's Lazoot ability. So it almost seems like he can steal other people's magics? I don't know. Already a ton of mystery going on, which is crazy. Anyway, I am loving this series. Great first chapter. I don't know if I'd necessarily say it's one of the best first chapters of all time, but it's one of the best first chapters I've read in the last year. This is already one of my favorite new manga. I'm going to be dying to read this every week. I have a bunch of thoughts, but I do need to read One Piece. So, for Twitter, for the quotes, for all of that, my verdict, this chapter is an 8 out of 10. Ton of great things going on, great characters, great setup, great tone, by the way, great art. Just kind of curious, like, thematically where it's going, because the two things going on right now are, you know, the whole respect for nature thing and human life, and then the other thing going on is gender roles, like the whole why is it special that a man can do what only women are supposed to do. I don't know, that seems weird, but interesting potential to be explored. Anyway, I'm excited. I love Ichi the Witch. Definitely has the potential to be one of Shonen Jump's next big manga for sure. Not the best, but a very good one. Yeah, was I saying Ururu? I meant to say Uroro. Where are we? Just looking at chat real quick. Got any advice how to become a mangaka at Shonen Jump? I feel like I wouldn't fit in. As a matter of fact, if you go to the Shonen Jump website, if you go to shonenjump.com, at the top you'll see the tabs. It says read, watch, Shonen Jump, Viz Manga, calendar. If you go to create, they have a program where you can apply to have your own original manga posted on their website. So if you think you have what it takes, if you have a cool idea for a manga, you have that route, man. Not the best, but a very good one. It's a really good first chapter. Yeah, I agree. On that note, unfortunately, I do need to speed things up, so we're going to go right into One Piece. I'm going to try and read this critically, but I do want to take my time, but I also do need to get going. So we're going to read One Piece chapter 1125, What Death Means. Interesting. So on the cover page, we have Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage, Volume 13. The rebuilding of Odin Castle and Foreman Minatomo's disappearance. Interesting. I wonder what happened to him. But anyway, they're building Odin's castle. Huh. So we cut to Egghead, and it says, get the Seraphim to the ships after they're charged up. So that's interesting. I know the Seraphim were kind of like cyborg things, but it's interesting to know that they have to like charge, right? Like tools, like weapons. As for the Sea Beast weapons and PX3s, so those will be weapons in the future. Oh, Rob Lucci and Kaku. And wait, where's Stussy? I killed her. Oh, so he... Did he? No, she blew herself up, right? Didn't she sacrifice herself? Or is she on the Sunny right now? Just read it and it was all good. Are you talking about Ichi the Witch? So Rob Lucci says that he killed her, which either way is a lie. Because I don't... Unless I'm not remembering right, that's just not true. We are now in possession of what we came for. York, Punk Records, the power plant. With these three, we gain the Mother Flame, a fire that never goes out. Which is weird, because aren't the Seraphims powered by the Mother Flame? That's kind of confusing. For the present moment, this is acceptable. However, so he's talking to all the Marine admirals. So they're apologizing for letting the Straw Hats get away. So Jay Garcia says, don't bother with Elbath. If there was any failure here to blame this on, it was the colossal failure to envision Vegapunk's broadcast message. And not only did we fail to stop that message, there is the bitter irony that the pirates' escape was aided by none other than that Iron Giant. About 200 years ago, they're talking to Saint Saturn. We've been ordered to dispose of that thing. If anyone finds out, I'll protect you. Research it. That giant represents the future. It will prove very useful to the military one day. Interesting. So it's kind of Jay Garcia's fault. Kind of bit him in the ass. Saint Saturn, I ask you this as a soldier in the service to the government. If you consider that a failure, then would that suggest that Vegapunk's statement was true? And then, of course, he attacks this guy for asking probably the dumbest question you could ask. So then we cut to inside the lab. What's this? Island clouds. Oh no, the island clouds are multiplying. Has the cloud plant gone out of control? It's Edison. He was supposed to be dead in the Fabrio phase. Okay, so one of the Vegapunks is alive. We know that. Well, there goes Punk Records. So, did he just sabotage the Punk Records? It seems like it. Interesting turn of events. So then we turn to Mary Joie, however you say it. So all the Celestials are freaking out. The world may sink under the sea, but that shouldn't matter to the Holy Land. It's not enough. Whatever weird noise they're making. I requested beef for dinner. What is this? What is this fish for? We have a foods shortage. Would you believe that yesterday I was forced to forego one of my meals and a snack? What? It's a prisoner's diet. Of course, they're all freaking out because they don't get to have caviar whenever they want. Between Horikoshi, creator of Don Don, creator of Kagurabachi, and the creator of Vagabond, who do I think is the best artist? I'm going to say Tatsu. Chamber of Power, Mary Joie. What do you think you're doing here, Garling? I am here on important orders. What orders? From whom? Where is your proper deference, Garling? Know your place. So Garling says, Vegapunk York is henceforth my direct subordinate, as I assume the role of Godhead of Science and Defense. Was that... who? Yeah, that was Saint J. Garcia. Wait a minute. Is he gonna die? What? This is... Whoa. You mean, the world will be thrown into chaos on a level we have never seen before. Let us do the utmost to improve it together, my fellow elders. So he was just elevated to, well, I don't know if he was elevated. I forget what his role was before. But he took St. J. Garcia's spot. And it's interesting. This is happening while St. J. Garcia isn't even there. So they look at Saturn, and he's screaming. And all of a sudden... So the interesting thing to point out is this black smoke that we usually saw with the elders when they were in their transformations. It seems to be leaving his body, which is important to note because he's been around for hundreds of years, so maybe this is the source of his immortality, so to speak. This is an emergency. Nothing must happen to the highest authority in the world. Is he sick with something? What do you need? Yeah, and as you can see, the life is literally draining from his body. Like he's becoming a mummy, turning into dust. So then all the admirals freak out. So he says, Great Emu. And then Emu says, Saturn, why did you allow Joy Boy to escape? Mercy, please. I did not know those powers were so nebulous. Interesting. So, learning something about Emu today, because Emu seemingly gave Saturn and the other elders all those weird powers of immortality, right? Like the fact that they could regenerate from all those attacks. This seems to be the source of the powers, is Emu. So then there's an explosion on the ship, and Saturn is literally turned to bones. Wait, I'm confused. So then it cuts to Egghead. So we weren't able to steal the Labo phase. Damn it, York blocked us. Our mental waves will reach anywhere, though. York still has access here. Oh, so this is kind of just confirming that they're still sort of on the database. I know, but it's better than physically handing it over. Let's work together to manage this genius brain until the day humanity can wrangle it themselves. Oh, I see. So they used the island clouds to steal punk records and the brain. So this is... They are taking this away from the government. And now it's just going to be kind of flying on its own. We don't have funds or materials, so we can't invent or develop anything. So they all sort of amalgamated together, I guess. Yeah, they kind of borrowed parts from all the different Vegapunks, and now they're in one body, which is very goofy looking, but very fitting. Make sure you throw out the extra York parts. Oh, I see. So they all have, if you look at pages 14 and 15, they all have, like, tons and tons of extra body parts. So they basically just built this from scratch, like a Mr. Potato Head. So then he calls Witheria, the weather scientists that Nami stayed with, of all people. Interesting. So basically, so then we cut to the rebels and Dragon's army. So basically, in the history no one knows about, there was a massive war during the Void Century, and the use of ancient weapons during that war caused the world to sink 200 meters into the sea. Whoever manages to seize the One Piece and become king of the pirates will have that power at their command once more. Huh. Sort of giving us an idea of what the end game is going to look like. Excuse me. And we can't sit around and wait for that to happen. A world sinking into the sea. And when you consider that the celestial dragons live at the world's highest elevation on the Red Line, Tequila Wolf, Vodka Wolf, Rum Wolf, Bourbon Wolf, all of those mega structures that they've had slaves constructing going back 700 years, all of these now hold a new meaning. We just had to go and say it. So, seemingly, I have to go back because I know one of those is a big bridge, but which is crazy because that was hundreds of chapters ago. So Oda knew this was, it just like goes to show how long Oda has had this specifically planned out, which is crazy. But then we cut to Dragon. The problem, Vegapunk, is not everyone who believes your warning. Let me read that again. The problem, Vegapunk, is that not everyone who believes your warning is going to prepare for this looming disaster peacefully. This demands a swift resolution, because it won't be long before the people of the world begin to fight over safe ground. Interesting. So yeah, we could potentially see like a massive world war in One Piece. Anyway, yeah, this was an exciting chapter. Excuse me, goes to show that we might be getting more chapters like this, sort of like we got in between the acts of Wano, where they kind of take the time to flesh out the world's reaction to the Vegapunk news. Interesting stuff, though. Great chapter. Great, even more mysteries about Emu. Yeah, true. Soul said this chapter's crazy. So much happens. Yeah, the stuff about Emu and the powers pretty much confirmed what I believed. I believed there was something magical going on with the regeneration powers. I'm curious if Emu might be like the source of devil fruit powers, because we can see him literally giving and taking powers, which is crazy. I don't know. Anyway, unfortunately, I do not have time to pick apart the chapter like I normally would. But I will answer a few quick questions. My favorite part is Saint Garlic becoming an elder while Saturn was dying. That was huge. I did not see that happening at all. I mean, Saint Saturn has been the face of the elders for over 1,100 chapters, and he dies in an instant. That is crazy. Seemingly one of the most powerful, like, probably the most powerful character after Emu, or one of, and he dies in like 3 pages. That is crazy. On that note, I believe One Piece is on for next week. Is it? Let's see. Yep, so One Piece is on next week. JJK has to be coming next week, right? Where is it? Where the heck is it? Jujutsu Kaisen. There it is. So yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen will be back next week. And then I think it's on until it ends. Yeah, we'll get a chapter on the 15th, then the 22nd, and then the final weekend. Yeah, no JJK this week. Yeah, I just I didn't know if it was on break next week as well. Anyway, great chapter. That's gonna be it for this stream. We will be streaming again Tuesday. Let me see. Chainsaw Man should be back, right? Let's take a look real quick. Chainsaw Man. No Chainsaw Man this week either. So maybe what we'll do, I have to talk to Townsy because we meant to do the My Hero stream last week, but we had an emergency come up, so we had to reschedule. So there'll be at least one more stream this week. It might just be the My Hero stream. I might also do a Magilumiere stream because that comes out in October. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Maybe we'll do 2 streams this week. We'll see. But at least one stream this week. I don't know when yet. This week's going to be kind of weird. But look out on the community page and on Twitter for announcements about those. Anyway, great stream as usual. Ton of great conversation. Had a lot of fun reading Ichi the Witch. I'm excited for that. One Piece chapter was crazy. That's going to be it for today. Thank you, everyone, for all the great comments, and I will